Hello Exiles. Today I show you another off-meta build showcase. This time around, I show you my Chaos Damage Frost Bomb build as an Acolyte of Chula with my level 89 Monk. All footage you see in the video has a boss difficulty of 4 and is played with the Atlas notable, unstable energies, shown in the background. This time around I wanted to make a build around a special unique item, Original Sin. Converts all of our elemental damage to chaos damage. With this in mind, I wanted to pick Acolyte of Chula as my ascendancy. It has a good chaos damage increase and on top of it a small mini game in a game, which is kinda funny. Frost Bomb on base has a 3.5 second cooldown and a very slow activate time. This means we need to lower the activate time and reduce the cooldown on Frost Bomb to feel smooth in maps. In the background you see my current setup, which is much faster, bigger and lower cooldown. Currently, my Frost Bomb is level 28 and supported with Extraction, Considered Casting, Magnified Effect, Spell Echo to hit an additional time after the activation, and Cold Mastery. I lowered the cooldown from 3.5 seconds to 2.15 seconds, which already feels much more better. To make Frost Bomb work, you have to skill 2 mandatory notables in our passive tree. First notable is Forthcoming, it reduces the activate time and cooldown on Frost Bomb. The next notable is Near at Hand. This one is hard to skill into it, which is why we anoint it on our amulet. This one is pretty expensive though. I bought the white color for 600 exalted orbs. If you can't afford it you can swap one support gem to Fast Forward, which decreases the effect duration by 30%. It will activate quicker, but without the anoint on your amulet you have to sacrifice a good amount of damage. So try to get this if you got the currency for it. For the cooldown, we use the unique shield, Crest of Ardura. This unique shield alone makes our Frost Bomb feel smooth in maps. Now that we have our cooldown and activation time lowered to a good amount, how do we scale Frost Bomb's damage? As most of the Path of Exile 2 builds, we scale a lot with additional levels on Frost Bomb. This is our main priority. Additionally, we use Archmage to scale our damage even further with our mana. Since our ring, Original Sin, sets our chaos resistance to 0, I skilled into a CI build, which sets our life to 0. On top of it, I use the combo Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery to get the maximum damage output on Archmage as possible. Half of the damage comes from Archmage. For this reason, I focus my gear on Energy Shield and Mana. In maps, we consistent try to sacrifice our minion to make use of Soul Offering, which will gives us a 38% more spell damage, which is insane. If you got 20 spirit left, you can use an additional cleric minion and play with the support gem, Danse Macabre, to buff Soul Offering even more. To boost our damage on bosses, we use Despair with the support, Hate and Curse, on bosses to lower the chaos resistance, and Eye of the Winter with a special support setup to instantly put maximum wither on the target. Normally Frost Bomb will kill most of the enemies in maps. If you have a boss fight or tanky rare you will use Frost Wall to make it shatter and deal extra damage on the enemies. I give you a quick look on how to use Frost Wall correctly. You want to use your Frost Bomb before Frost Wall, to make the explosion in line with the Frost Wall spawn. Otherwise, you run into situations where you block yourself with the walls, which feels a bit clunky. All my gems and tree nodes are in the max roll link in the description below. Earlier, I talked about Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery. To make our defensive work with it, we use the unique amulet, the Everlasting Gaze, which gives us up to 30% of our maximum mana as extra energy shield. If you don't have it, I would really recommend not to skill the keystones until you have the amulet, otherwise you will die a lot. I would focus a lot on mana and energy shield, since it is our offensive and defensive layer. To make our defensive more useful, we use Grim Feast for our aura to give us a good amount of overflow on our energy shield. In some situation you can use your Frost Wall as well, to zone enemies away from you. Our defensive is probably the weakness on this build, and I'm still figuring out how to make it even more tanky. For the most part, it is not a problem. You will have struggles though in high-roll T15 maps with a lot of juice and increased modifiers scaling on maps through our Atlas tree. Otherwise you will be fine. Later on, we put most of our currency into defensives. The more energy shield and mana we have, the stronger we get on our defensive as well. At this current stage, I did not put as much into it. Mostly I used my currency to make it work first. With this setup, I'm pretty comfortable in running T15 maps with the Atlas Keystone. I hope you enjoyed my quick showcase on my new build with the unique ring, Original Sin. In the description you will find the link to the max roll site for my current tree, gear and gem setup. If you got more questions for this build, feel free to ask them. I try to quickly respond and to be active on the Path of Exile forum as well. Thanks as always and I will see you next time. Cheers.